Well, a Seattle man is behind bars this morning after court documents say he followed a family through Pike Place Market, touching the children inappropriately.
Yeah, when first responders arrived, they say the man assaulted and threatened them. He was eventually caught with bail set at $50,000. But this is just one example of crime that continues to be a problem in downtown Seattle and keeping many visitors away. But overall, how does the crime rate compare to a few years ago? Some say downtown Seattle is on the rise once again. From a business perspective, the city center is making a drastic recovery after being hit hard from the start of the pandemic 3 years ago.
Yeah, you know, every year the Downtown Seattle Association releases a report about the area's recovery. So Fox 13's Brian Flores is joining us live from the newsroom this morning. And Brian, they are presenting all of this data coming up today.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, they are. And we are expecting to hear an update on the business recovery that was hit hard by the pandemic. As you mentioned, we're going to hear about local perspectives on urban issues, including the economy and, yes, crime. Now, this is going to be the 18th annual State of Downtown Address hosted by the Downtown Seattle Association. That's expected to take place later this afternoon. But right now, we're joined by the president and CEO of the Downtown Seattle Association, John Scholes. John, thanks so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.
Good morning, Brian. Happy to be with you.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. So, John, whenever I talk to people about downtown Seattle, and of course this is anecdotal, there is a singular theme that comes up. They always say it's not what it used to be. They talk about crime, yes, they talk about homelessness, urban growth, but they also talk about the future events as well. When you get that question, John, what is your response? How would you describe downtown Seattle?
Well, we've turned a corner. I mean, certainly the pandemic had devastating impacts on our small business community, on arts and culture, on just the vibrancy that we're so used to in our downtown. But we're making incredible progress. Crime is down in 2022 from what we saw prior to the pandemic in 2019. We've got fewer tents and encampments on the sidewalk. A year ago, we had about 140. Today, we've got about 10 or so. We're seeing businesses reopen. We just had Moderna announce that they'll be bringing 200 plus employees to downtown and opening a tech office. So we've really turned a corner in a lot of ways, but there's no doubt we've got a lot of work to do. The pandemic was devastating to our downtown, much like many others around the country, but we're headed in the right direction. Finally, I think a lot of credit goes to Mayor Harrell and some other public leaders who are doing the right thing. They're on offense. They believe in the importance of downtown for our entire city's health.
I want to talk about crime and homelessness in a moment, John, but before we do, last year when you gave your address, I listened to it briefly. You talked about, more than 100,000 people living in downtown. People are coming back. There's an increase in regional tourism, hotel rooms getting booked again. But we've also seen some businesses leave. The Nike store left, Amazon vacating some offices, Regal Cinema also leaving. The question for you is, are we back to 2019 pre-pandemic, or are these businesses leaving a precursor of what's to come?
In some cases, we're back or better. We've got more people living downtown than we had prior to the pandemic. So huge residential boom. In the summer, our visitor numbers and our hotel occupancy was number 1 or 2 in the country. And we were just off 2019 numbers for what we'd expect in the summer. Return to office has been slower than we'd like. We're at about half of what we should be relative to numbers in 2019. So it's a multifaceted story. But in each of those cases, each of the numbers we're tracking, we're moving to the right and up, which is the way we want to be headed. And we are in a period of transition when it comes to retail, no doubt. Nike Town, we were sad to see them go, but we're seeing new openings. Uniqlo opened at 4th and Pine back in November. Their sales have been 50% better than what they projected. We've got some additional restaurants and retail opening in the coming months. Ethan Stowell's opening new spots, Monorail Espresso, Pike Brewing. So it's certainly a period of transition, but we're seeing more openings than closings, and we're seeing the numbers go in the right direction.
And John, the King County Regional Homelessness Authority, they were, of course, tasked to end homelessness. It's been around since 2021. Last year, you talked again about, the experience is everything when it comes to downtown Seattle, that it's safe and welcoming for everybody. The question is, do you remain confident in the Homelessness Authority, Seattle Police, local government in delivering that safe experience?
Yeah, we're making progress there, but we need to move much faster. Again, we've got fewer tent encampments on the streets of downtown Seattle today than a year ago, but we still have too many people suffering from behavioral health issues, substance use, and homelessness. And I'm particularly concerned about, and I'll speak to this later today, the fentanyl crisis, which continues to take more and more lives in the city of Seattle each and every year. We lost more people since the start of the pandemic to overdose deaths in this city than we did to COVID. And this is a crisis that we are not taking seriously. We are not moving with urgency to address it. And we can have a revitalized downtown with new restaurants and retail and, thriving, active public realm, or we can have a fentanyl marketplace, but we can't have both. And I think we all want a healthy, safe, vibrant city again. And we've got to take seriously this drug crisis that is not just on the streets of downtown, it's affecting other parts of our city. And I'm not seeing the leadership and attention around this crisis. We need to move much faster.
All right, John Scholes, President and CEO of the Downtown Seattle Association. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Good seeing you.
Appreciate the opportunity, Brian.
All right, John. And the State of Downtown 2023, by the way, taking place from 3 to 7 p.m. at the beautiful Downtown Seattle Convention Center Summit Building. We'll have more on the address throughout the day. In the meantime, here in the newsroom, Brian Flores, Fox 13 News, back over to you.